the basic witch? Who's the basic witch? Oh, hi guys, it's Byzantine, and today it's the first type of video like this, which is the battle of the fragrances of the same notes. And it's very spontaneous video because I was about to post something different, but I decided to be in my abracadabra mood, wearing this witchy hat. And I am gonna talk about the witchy, like the sugar witch, sugar plum witch fragrances today. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the battle is between, as you see in the title, between the licorice cherry fragrances. And this video is gonna be long, definitely. The thing is that I am in Poznan right now. I visited my parents, and before I go back to London, I'm in my own old apartment, not own, my old apartment. And I went shopping a little bit and yada yada yada. I was running some errands, and I sprayed on my hand in here a La Petite Robe Noir by Guerlain that was released in early 2000s. And I was like, yeah, well, I know this fragrance. I sprayed it before. Like, it's very familiar. But then I thought to myself, why not making a battle between this and what's on my other hand, as would simply Logical say, actually in here, which is oh, sorry, Lolita Lempicka, uh, Lolita Lempicka fragrance, the apple one. This one is actually limited edition called Eau de Minuit, which is the midnight fragrance, or midnight water, as the name says. It comes in this bottle. It's discontinued. And I will show you the presentation. The bottle is placed in here. And there's always, on the Lolita Lempicka fragrances, there's always a description behind. So it says Midnight Illusions, because the whole limited edition line that included, I think, 3 fragrances was called Midnight Illusions. And this fragrance is described as an encounter with the magic of midnight. Midnight fragrance is voluptuous essence, a more sensual interpretation of licorice flower enriched with precious notes. For this special edition, the night is suffused with color. The apple bottle is sweated. What's the word? How do you pronounce it? In mystery and incense desire, stirring purplish butter adorned with black ivy leaves set off with touches of gold. Well, my pronunciation is not the best, but I will tell you about my experience with both fragrances. And actually, this is my first Lolita Lempicka bottle, but I had another limited edition bottle. This one is, I think, from 2012. I have this bottle since 2014. There's still a little bit left in the bottom, as you can see. And it has this lovely, let me lift a little bit of this homemade soft box so you can see it better. And this is how it looks. The bottle is amazing. And I had the classic non-limited edition bottle of Lolita Lempicka as well. And I know this fragrance. And let me start with a story time with about this fragrance and me. So when I started working in retail, I've noticed quickly that the people who are blessed with the most of privilege and luxury, you can see it but by the way they look, but you can see it by the way they smell. And yeah, I got hooked into fragrance, so I thought, oh, I need my signature. I really need my signature. So I ordered a few samples from, well, now it's Notino, then it was iperfume.pl. So I was, buying there since 2010. I even saw like my old orders online because they're on the record there, in the record, whatever. So I ordered a few samples, and this one was a hit. It was amazing. It was a compliment getter. It was everything I wanted back then. And it wasn't very obvious, but at the same time, it wasn't very niche and weird. It was like really a dream come true. Plus, the advert, the ad, the commercial really get me hooked. You should see it. I will try to link it down below in the down bar. Why not? So, yeah. I really feel this mood, and as you can see, I look witchy today, and this fragrance is enchanting. It's magical. It is witchy. It's like the modern sugar witch fragrance, definitely. So I was using it for years, and then I stopped using it, and I started, I thought to myself, oh, I need to learn more about fragrance, I need to smell more fragrances, but I had many bottles of the Lolita Lempicka. So let's get to the point. So when Guerlain came out with the La Petite Robe Noir, there are so many editions right now. I am to some extent considering buying a full bottle, but I'm not sure which version yet because they have many flankers, they have many versions. Sometimes cherry is replaced with blueberry and so on. And yeah, I'm not sure, and I like the shape of La Petite Robe Noire because it's the shape of the bottle because it's like L'Heure Bleue, or I think it first appeared in L'Heure Bleue and Mitsuko. So yeah, but the whole right that like drawing of the dress is for me a little bit too much on in the bottle. I know that this is too much for some, but yeah, like I would like skip the drawing of the dress. I think so. And okay, so I have La Petite Robe Noire here on my hand, and I sprayed it in many seasons, and sometimes I get this very powdery note, like the washing powder note, and it's sweet. It's very sweet, and actually, right now I come to a conclusion that to me, La Petite Robe Noire uh, reminds me so much about Calvin Klein's Euphoria. I know that in Euphoria you have the note of pomegranate that reminds me about the scent from Bath and Body Works called Midnight Pomegranate. And yeah, but there's a lot of um, Euphoria in La Petite Robe Noire, and it gives me this kind of American vibe because when I first went to when I first was in the US, my aunt that I was staying with, she used like this midnight pomegranate from Bath and Body Works, like air freshener, and you could smell it everywhere, and she used also the hand sanitizer, so it gives me this vibe, but way sweeter. I would say it's like Euphoria on a speed. And you can smell cherry, but it's like it's maraschino cherry to me. It's not like fresh, sweet, juicy, sour cherry. It's sweet, 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 sweet cherry. And I'm pretty sure that the licorice in or the licorice in it uh, smells well, gives it a little bit of the how would you say it, fumey smoky effect, but it doesn't smell like smoke as burning, but it gives it like this, the film of this gray fumes, as I would say. But yeah, it's definitely very sweet maraschino cherry. You can smell it's fruity, you can smell it's sweet. I'm sure it's based on a vanilla since it's Guerlain. Guerlain is famous for their vanilla, so they had to put it there. I would even say that they put some iris note out there because it's quite powdery, as I would tell you. Well, and on this hand, which is this beauty. Well, let me tell you right out of the bat that it smells more earthy and less sweet. And since licorice is, I think it's a root, right? It's well, in Poland there's no tradition of eating licorice candies. Let me tell you that. And you know what? It's less sweet. It's more earthy. You can smell it's earthy. It's not fresher. It's just less sweet, and that gives it more breath. Uh, you can smell cherry, but especially at the first spray in a head note, and right now it's more in the back, and it smells more mysterious, as I would say. It's not juvenile. It's mysterious, and it's easy to neglect to underrate this fragrance because it's in this playful bottle, which is not minimalistic at all, and the regular version is even less minimalistic. I don't know if you can see these ivy leaves all over the bottle. Um, yeah, so this fragrance is less sweet. If it comes for to lasting, I think they last more or less the same. I used to have body lotion from Lolita Lempicka, and I used to layer it. And let me tell you, you know, I got so many compliments all the time. Like it for at some point, it really was my signature. I must admit that even one of my friends that I know now, and you know, one time I used this fragrance and she said, "Oh, I knew you're in the room because I could smell your fragrance." And I'm not sure if she liked it, but she said it's my fragrance. So, yeah. I think if I had to choose right now between La Petite Robe Noir and Lolita Lempicka, I think I would go with Lolita Lempicka, but this version, which is a little bit, as the description in the box on the box says, it's more sensual than the regular version. But still, even if this is more deep, more sensual, it's still less sweet than La Petite Robe Noire. And I think that Lolita Lempicka has is it's more complicated, more complex than this one. I don't know, because um you can see this earthiness, fruitiness, a little bit of sweetness, you know, playing with your nose in here with the Lolita Lempicka. Whereas here, after you're done with your head notes, uh, with La Petite Robe Noire, you know, the fragrance is very linear. It smells the same all the time, but it's very intensive. It's very nice. It's warm. It's definitely warmer. This one is definitely, I mean, La Petite Robe Noire. This hand is La Petite Robe Noire. I'm sure you noticed so far. Is warmer. It's definitely warmer, sweeter. Let's conclude that there are similarities between both fragrances. La Petite Robe Noire is sweeter. Some people say that other version of La Petite Robe Noire are more syrupy. And I know I smelled other version. I smelled the intense version which doesn't have the cherry, but it has blueberry version, blueberry note. I smelled the petal version, the green one, and that was interesting. I remember. I don't remember exactly why, but I remember thinking it was interesting. And yes, and if it comes to Lolita Lempicka, I just want to let you know that they changed the packaging and the formula is different as well. It's more sweet, definitely. It's well, I should get it to give you like the full review. Let me know if you'd like that. But it's still worth checking out because I think like Lolita Lempicka that was released in I think 1998 offered something original, something that you can smell in many fragrances. And I recommend you going to Agata Vasilenko's channel. She has her channel called Ogród Perfum Agaty, and checking out her review. It's in Polish, but maybe you could understand some or ask her something in the comments. She's a great supporter of my channel and she gives me many great advices. And go ahead and check her review. She says that Lolita Lempicka is like this interpretation of Dr. Pepper, the soda drink. Well, could be. Actually, it makes sense. Or maybe like this more cherry cola vibe. I think, yeah. This is more accurate. It's more spicy, I think. Oh yeah, and cola has this spicy kind of thing. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for so much for staying this long. That was my Lolita Lempicka versus La Petite Robe Noir review. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time, and best wishes!